Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the screenwriting step-by-step project. Episode number 133. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come here to you every Monday and through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am here to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I write a script to demystify the process of screenwriting. Just the process, the figuring it out, scene by scene, line by line. Because you know what makes a really great script? Existing. Not being written is a serious flaw in most scripts. And so I'm just trying to show you a process to get your stuff written. It's not the best process. It's not the only process. It's just the process that I have figured out in my 25-year career writing TV and movies. And I want to walk you through it in case it will be helpful to you when you are looking at your blank page and thinking, how do I do this? This is just a way to do it. You do not have to watch all 133 episodes. Just watch a little bit here and there. Take what you like. Use what is useful to you. Disregard the rest. Do it your way because every writer is different. Every project for every writer is different. You got to figure it out as you go along. I'm just trying to give you some tips, some skills, some things to do. Okay. Javier, you're first. Hello, this is Kitchen. Yes, indeed. Welcome to both of you and to all of you. We are just going to get right to work because I am getting just tired of hearing myself introduce this. That's why I'm doing this little quickie intro and then getting right to work, which is finishing up the outline so we can get back to the rewrite, the Deakins outline, the character outline. In which what I do is I take a copy of the outline. I have my outline here. I duplicated it. I made a copy that I could work with. And then I cut out everything in it that was not this character's scenes. So that this outline is just the track of this person through the story. Because I believe every story is really made up of a whole bunch of people following their own tracks, and where they collide, where they interact, that's your story. That is the definition of a story in some ways. And so what I like to do, I actually have a whole video on this concept called Building Character Arcs. And sorry, I just got to say, Larry, don't worry about it. We're not watching. We don't know when you are or not watching, so we are great that you are here. We cannot wait for you to be done cleaning up. I am glad you are cleaning up. It is an important part of everyone's process to have a healthy, sustainable life that can let you be creative. Hello, Natasha. Yes, I appreciate, and I'm not going to discourage anyone from watching them, but if I was looking at this, if I came into this new, hello, the evil fungi, who used to, I bet, be Kirby. Anyway, here's the thing. If I was a newcomer to this and I saw this and I stumbled onto it and I saw that there were 133 hours that I needed to watch, I would say no thank you. So I just want to make sure that people understand it's not like this is like a planned lesson that you have to do all of. It's just a way to watch me work so that you can learn things from my working process. That's all it is. So in this case, my working process is I made an outline just for the character of Deakins, who is a retired serial killer who has been brought out of retirement in this sequence by the events of the rest of the script. And what has happened is he has told them a little bit about himself, and even though he can't prove that he is in fact this notorious cold case serial killer, Madeline, our lead character, kind of just believes him. She trusts him. She gets a feeling, a moment of connection, and she says, you know what? I believe him. And that is a turning point in the scene. No worries, Kirby. Yeah, I don't have a page list characters because in my experience, that's not a thing in screenplays. I mean, you can do it. It's fine. When you're in production, they do that. But you're not in production. You're not writing a production script, so don't do that. Don't do the stuff where they list all the locations. That's for production. That's for somebody who is working on the production. However, if the way that that list of characters thing used to work, that used to be at the beginning of stage plays. Every stage play would have a list of the characters and a list of the scenes, the settings. Some people do it, and it's not a terrible thing. But in my opinion, it is one more thing that distracts you in your read of the story. Unless you have a massive, complex Game of Thrones-like repertoire of different countries with different people in it, people should be able to remember who the characters are. If they can't remember by watching who your characters are, then you've made a mistake in defining your characters. They should know who they are. If you want to put a list of characters, sure. But it is not standard American industry practice. It is kind when somebody opens a script, first of all, they are reluctant to open the script. They will do anything not to open it. If they have to flip through a couple of pages of stuff to get to the start of the story, one more reason that they feel like, it's not terrible. It's a matter of choice. I wouldn't say it's impossible. I would say most scripts don't have it in Hollywood. Okay. Hello, Gene. Making an outline for your trouble. I assume you mean a character who's a troubled Marine, not you're making one for the troubled Marine in your life. And Tavana, welcome to have you back. Welcome from Norway. So yeah, Gene, I think that what you're saying is you're making a character outline, and I am thrilled because I find it helpful. So here's what happens. We get to this turning point in the story where Madeline says, you know what, I believe this person, which means two things. One, I believe that he is who he says he is. And two, therefore, I believe what he says, which is he did not commit this murder. That raises a lot of questions. They believe him. Now what? Because one of the things that is happening is if he didn't do it, they say, they have to raise the question of telling the police. It might help them find out who did do it. I think that is an important step. Yeah, it does. So that's a possibility for that scene. But then the issue becomes, and he's a little reluctant to, but he doesn't want them to do it. Let me see what else is in this scene. Let's look at the script and see what we have already in here. Okay, so he says he's innocent. Now they say there's the long road to him convincing them who he is, which I will be cleaning up because this is a lot of stumbling steps. I think he's telling us the truth. Then Shrimpton says, no, we should tell them, please don't do that. Why on earth not? Because they'll want to know how we know. Exactly. What I like about this is that Madeline and Deakins are kind of already on the same side. They are sort of unconsciously teaming up because of sympathy, empathy. Hello, Janae. Welcome. So, see, this is a contradiction. Like I have here, Shrimpton says, we should tell the police. Deakins says, no, don't. And then he says, tell them if you do tell them, talk to them, tell them I didn't. That's just a waste of a line because he's saying the exact opposite. If we tell them that you said you didn't do it, right? Okay. So this. Okay, so this entire section about Xena has to go somewhere else, has to go earlier, has to be about them talking. So I'm just going to move it up here. Where can I put this? That's a good question. Where can I put? Where does she? She could do it after they believe him. That makes kind of sense. Yeah, see, this is where they're all working on it, working on the case. No, that doesn't work. Where can I put this little section where Xena, this little section of the script where Xena is trying to kind of get Deakins to let her in and become a pal. She's trying to buddy up as one does. But this whole section, he's sort of attacking her. She wouldn't do it there. Well, for now, I'm going to put it here, but I don't think it goes here. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to make it, put it in italics so I know it's not in the right place. There is one other possibility. It could go much earlier in the scene when he first says who he is. That's one thing. All right. Like it could be before. Now, you see, this is, but see, Norman is the first person to speak who's not Madeline. He's the first one to talk on speaker. So that's before that, we can't have Xena talk to him. Then here, he's kind of offended and Let's put it here and take it out of here. All right, we should tell the police. Tell them what? He's a little nervous. Tell them what? That you didn't do it. Didn't do it. Please don't do that. Why on earth not? Because they'll want to know how we know he didn't do it. Exactly. That's exactly. Okay. All right. That's a possibility. I'm going to briefly talk to Janae about her note. How little you write in the action lines. Yes. Yeah. It's really hard, and it's also really difficult because there isn't a real rule. Sometimes you really do want to, and some writers write a fair amount. What I because I used to write a lot more. If you look at my early scripts, which you will get a chance to do later in the spring, I'm going to put a bunch of my scripts on my website where you can read them. And I'm also going to do some videos after this project is done. I'm going to do some videos talking about different scripts and how I wrote them and what happened to them. And I've gone through a progression, as everyone should in their writing. You shouldn't be writing the exact same thing in the exact same style your whole life. You should be changing. What I found I needed to do was be less writerly, which was in some ways liberating and in some ways frustrating, because I like writing. I like writing to read. But the truth is, a script, they want to move really fast. And the other truth is, if you are describing the physical setting, if you are describing what people are doing, you are wasting the reader's time, because the reader is a professional who knows that that's not going to stick. Other people are going to redesign all that. And you've just took a lot of page space painting a picture that suggests you don't understand what they're looking for is characters and what they do and what they say. That's what they want. They want to know what people are doing and saying, what they are feeling maybe, but you don't want to physically describe things a lot. It's just not that important. So that is my opinion. On the other hand, a beautifully written script is a beautiful thing. It's cool. It's neat when somebody writes well. But truthfully, there's just so little room in a script. And it should be full of the stuff that they're going to shoot, the stuff they're going to act. That's really the key to writing a good script. Something else. All right, let's get Norman in here. Something else we haven't been talking about. Excuse me, I'm going to have to drink some water. Okay. There's something else we haven't been talking about. If you didn't kill George, who did? I was wondering that. Somebody pointed the cops right at you. They wanted you to go down for this. Yeah, somebody pointed the cops right at you. They wanted you to go down for this. So it's somebody. So it's someone. So safe to say it's someone who doesn't like you very much. Well, that's got to be a long list. Now this is a whole other topic. The evidence that I'm sorry to ask this when you're, I know it's not your problem right now, but the evidence that George was going to reveal. What was it? Where did he get it? What was the evidence? What is the evidence that George was going to reveal? There we go. Okay, cool. He didn't have any. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, of course. Of course. That must be very shocking to you. Well, of course, that must be very shocking to you. He didn't have any. He didn't have any. Oh, of course, I'm sorry. That must be. I'm sorry. That must be very frightening. It must be very frightening for you to hear that. He didn't have any. All right. Perhaps a margarita. Yes, a margarita is better than water, and a lovely thing. I generally don't write better when I am intoxicated because I lose my focus. The truth is that this is a very focused, actually energetic thing to write. And not to write this, to write at all. Writing is actually, that's why I tend to do it better in the morning when I'm clearest and most awake. So. He made it up. He was trying to lure you out. Lure you out, draw you out, get you to make a mistake. All right. There's another problem. There's another problem. Okay, well, who I am. All right. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there where this is... Actually, I'm going to go back up here to that part I put way at the beginning. that part I was moving around, it goes later. Yeah, it goes here. Okay, it goes right before the end of the scene. Yes, thank you, Kitchi. That is absolutely right. Janae, you should not feel bad about the mistake of writing too much description. It is really, really hard to get used to this very weird form, screenwriting. Screenwriting is a bizarre art form. It is not sensible. It is not natural. It is not anything that people who read would get. Kirby's question: what things should you describe in a script? What should you describe? You should describe what people are doing, what people are saying, possibly how they are feeling. If they are doing something that is invisible to the other characters, you can do that. You can tell us about that. The main thing you're describing is what people do and what people say, who they are in the story. It's always about a scene. So what you're describing, you have to describe the setting in the sense that, it's an old cabin with fishing equipment on the walls and stuff. A couple sentences, that's fine. But then you want to get into the action. If the description gets too long, you slow down the reader. You have them looking around passively. And the story, the characters and their problems and situation, that is what you are always trying to write. The more that you are writing that, the more that writers, directors, actors, producers will say, this is the stuff I need. And while it is difficult because let's step away here. In order to get to directors and actors and producers, you often need to go through readers and executives. And many of them do not really understand production. They do not understand the difference between criticizing stuff on a page and performing it and shooting it. They only operate in the sphere of documents. And that is what anyone who's in the business of actually making things knows. Not that the document is not very important. What's important is the contents that are going to be used for the acting and shooting part. So you do have to write a little bit for the reader. That's good. That's fair. You should make it a good read, which also means just writing clear sentences, writing not proper English, but good readable writing. And the more that you read good books, entertaining, watching plays and movies that are well written, the more that you'll get a sense of good writing. But that the main thing that a good script has is a really solid set of characters engaged in a really clear, constantly moving and developing story. That is what you are writing. Everything else, you do it the best you can and don't worry too much. If you've got the important stuff, people will work with whatever you've written. So that's my feeling about it. What do you write on the page? The most important thing is the story, which means the characters and their problem. It means these crucial questions. This is really what you write. You write, who is it about? What do they want? Why can't they get it? What do they do about that? Why doesn't that work? And how does it end? If you are writing about that stuff, if you are writing in scenes, if you are thinking, what is happening in this moment between these people because they are trying to do things, they're trying to get things from each other or accomplish something, that is what you should be writing. That's what I'm trying to write right now. What I'm worried about is how they can move from these ideas to ideas that I want them to get through, because they are being driven by their needs. Deakins wanted to communicate, and now he wants to get out safe. Xena wants to hook Deakins in. Madeline wants to communicate and connect with Deakins and actually kind of let him go. Everybody's got something they want in this scene. Norman wants the story. He can't help himself. He is a writer. He is a journalist. So that's what you describe. Silence of the Lambs is a good script. The tricky thing about Silence of the Lambs is that it's not original, and that the original novel was written by a screenwriter, so therefore it is well constructed as a script. It is very well written. Read scripts. Read a lot of scripts. That is the main thing. Read a lot of scripts. Read a lot of good narrative books, stories where you follow the story and notice how people keep their sentences clear and short. Keep their sentences. I mean, that's one of the things you're going to watch me when I get going more. That's really important. Okay, let's go back to the outline. We want to mention. Yes, intentions. Indeed, intentions is another way of saying what do they want. Everybody has their own way. Goals, objectives, intentions. I like to say what do they want, because goals, intentions, those are abstractions. Those are judgments. What do they want is a question that you have to answer with an action. That's why I like to put things in forms of questions, because I don't want to get it to be a summary. I don't want to get to the point where you say his motivation is X, and that's just a theoretical thing. It's love or power or money. But if it's something that they want, then if you're thinking in terms of a person wanting something, it's still an intention, it's still a goal, it's still an objective. But every time you phrase it as what do they want, you put it in an active form with a concrete. You want what they want to be concrete, specific, clear. And the reason you want that is because if it is not clear, if it's not specific, then we can't tell if they're getting it or not. All right. So okay. If we don't tell the police that you didn't do it, then they're going to waste their time trying to find you. Which I also assume you don't want. No. Yes, that's it. First of all, The Third Man is a phenomenal script. Anyone who wants to read a great, and it is, Graham Greene is a novelist and wrote that well, but he did understand. He actually was a film critic for a long time also. So he weirdly understood, and his novels are so great at this too, how characters communicate and play out their actions in scenes. That's Graham Greene's novels are beautiful for that. However, he also did write the novel. Did he write the novel and then the script, or did he actually novelize it after he wrote the script? I never knew that. I just knew that both existed. If you're going to read something, Graham Greene. Let me just hold on. Okay. I am going to tell you, if you get a chance, if you're looking for something to read just to see how characters can play out in fiction, which is almost it's almost filmable. Graham Greene's novels are incredibly detailed and beautifully written. This guy was so close to getting the Nobel Prize several times. Just great writer who also wrote the movie The Third Man, which is magnificent. Anyway, I would strongly recommend those works. They're great. Okay. Okay. Oh, oops. Put Graham in there. All right. So this is not a question. This is, yeah. Okay. How does this resolve? Does he give them his blessing to... Okay, does he give them his blessing to tell the police? No. He can't. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, what he does. Well, let me just put this in the script right now while we're doing this. So, we won't tell the police you called, but maybe we can just push the police to look other places with a... I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that if you can. Maybe we can just push the... I would appreciate... Yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay. Yes. You think Third Man is too convoluted? That's interesting. It's I actually find it pretty cool. I mean, he's sort of going step by step through the mystery. But Quiet American, I have never read. I've heard it's really good. Brighton Rock is cool, but if you don't, the first time I read it, I didn't understand the language and the culture of Brighton in the 40s and 50s, Brighton, England. And so there were things that they were talking about that I was just, because they took for granted that you understood that this guy, Collie Kibber, is apparently some kind of newspaper columnist or something. And I remember, what are they talking about? But it doesn't matter. You get into the characters and the story very quickly, no matter what. Anyway, yes, Graham. I'm just saying, this is not going to score you any points. Graham Greene will not score you any points with Hollywood, with readers. They don't know. I'm just saying, if you want to learn good writing, he is a very, very fine writer of words and characters and stories that have a moral dimension and an incredible drive, a credible narrative drive. It's just good stuff. Okay, briefly, let me talk to Natasha here. What does it mean if a reader leaves notes saying so little is held back? Is this saying I'm telling you? Yeah, kind of. I assume that that's a negative comment. I mean, in some ways, people could say that's a good thing, but the question is, subtext is also a very tricky thing, because it's a personal balance. Some people like more, some people like less, so you don't know what your reader is going to like. But I would advise you to think about subtext. Subtext, which I'm going to talk about in my dialogue video, but basically what subtext is the things that the people are feeling and thinking, but not saying directly. So they may say like, oh, you're going to go over to your uncle's again. I guess you guys are really building up your business or something. And it's clear that the person who's saying that actually doesn't like it, even though they're not saying, I don't like you going over there. So you need to really think about what the people are feeling and thinking below the surface of the words. You don't want to put everything out there because we don't. When we talk to each other, we often speak carefully or indirectly or keep our thoughts to ourselves for many, many reasons. It's just the way people behave, and the audience likes to read the characters. They like to recognize that the person is not saying what they mean. It helps them feel engaged. If you have your characters say, I don't like you going to work with your uncle, it's too dangerous. Now the audience doesn't have anything to do. They're just like, okay, I got it. But if they're watching how this person's like, maybe you should spend some more time on your studies or something, we know that they're trying to get them to stop, and they know it, they feel it, and they'll react to that. Then the audience, they get more involved in the scene. That's why subtext is a good thing. And so, yes, if they are saying so little is held back as far as subtext, it sounds to me like they're saying you're having people talk too much on the nose, which is an interesting balance. But I would say always try to think about what is happening below the words, or even more important, what's happening in the center of the scene. What is the scene about? What are they trying to do? And then have the words not quite say it directly until the crucial moments you pop out of subtext and into direct confrontation. But that's few and far between, as we know in our own lives. Okay. So there's some sections here that are, they're okay, they're not great, they're not in, but at least I know. Madeline says they will try to push investigate off CSK, and he gives his blessing to that. Madeline tells him, okay, so this is all actually in there, but I'm just going to leave it. Okay. Xena tries to get him to join their group, which is just hysterical that she would think that he would join their group. Okay. All right, and after that, it's just him recognizing the moment. Okay, so we have completed the Deakins outline of this episode. Not Deakins' full story, but at least we've got what's going on. Now we need to put that. Cool, great, glad, yeah. Yes, I've heard that the both versions of the movies are good, actually. I am now going to take this stuff here, the Deakins outline, and put it into the regular outline. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, so this is what I've got here is the Deakins outline, and then I am cutting and pasting into, and there will be some overlap. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing now is just making sure that everything goes into the outline, because if you don't, actually, this doesn't go here. If you don't, then if you don't have all your thoughts in one place, when you're trying to write, you'll just forget them. You'll follow the track of whatever page you're on and not remember the things that you wanted that are on another piece of paper. So put them all in one place, all in the outline. Okay. Let's take this. All right, so everyone else. Okay, so okay, that's the same. Introduce himself. Okay, so there we go. We got that there. Norman reminds Deakins of he has to prove who he is. See, that was here. Now it's a whole section. Look at that. They believe him. Now what is now a whole section. So we take it out of here and we put it in here. And now everything that we have done in the Deakins outline is here in the main outline. And that's really a good thing, because now when and look, Deakins outline is just nothing. Okay, so I'm going to quit all of this. I'm going to take the Deakins outline, and I am going to move it to the trash. Boom. Okay, so now outline. I'm going to open the outline again. Oh, keep clicking on the window that shows me my what I'm streaming, which I can't interact with because it's just a stream. All right. So now, so far so good, is the whole script. I have to go back to the beginning because I also have some notes here that I made. I reread the script and tried to just make some quick notes about certain things, and I have to put those in order in the outline to where they... Okay, so this is just something I had to tell you, which is just that you need to read these things over and over and get it into your head. The most important thing is to work with what you have, to actually work with the script, not with the plan for the script, not with the what you think the script can be. It's like, what do I actually have here? And you need to get familiar with it like you would, like if you were, I don't know, painting a house, you would need to know where all the rooms were. You would need to walk through it a whole lot and say, okay, this wall's needs this and this wall needs that. That's what you need to do with your script. You need to walk through it over and over, get familiar with it. So I'm just taking these notes. Okay, so this is just when Norman sees Dundowski. So I'm going to find that scene, which is way down here. Okay, then I'm going to go back up, get my notes, cut these notes. Yeah. Okay, that was just an article that was just, what I was thinking was we need to establish a type of tape that he uses to record on for his video confession that Xena will find, but that's not a reel-to-reel tape. Okay, that was just a note to myself. These are just notes to myself. Yeah, these were things I wrote to myself as I was reading it, which I've since solved. So now they're all gone. Okay, and it looks like, you know what, we are at the end of an hour. So I think I'm going to say, let's stop for here. Yes. I know, isn't it weird? It's like things that just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I really appreciate that you're noticing that this is really, really important. The more that you can do your work, and if you want to stop and open a new document to do work on a certain section or something, do it. That's fine. But then get it back into the outline, into the overview, into one of the documents that is where everything is, because that way you're, like I said, you're walking through the script over and over, and every time you walk through it, you get a little more solid on your sense of what you want to do. So every time you do that in the outline, the more that you do that by going through it, the more that you get it into your head, so that when you write, you know where everything is, and you can just make it better. Okay. Yes, Dan Gilroy, very good thank you. I agree. Very good for subtext. Dan Gilroy is an excellent writer for subtext. All of his stuff is big on subtext. William Goldman is also very good on subtext. Okay, so everybody, it was great to see you. I will see you tomorrow, and until then, go write something.